eagerly waiting for our chief guest. We would like to listen to our chief guest, Shri Gopal Krishna Agarwal sir. We are very much delighted to have you with us, and I would like to give a very little brief about sir. Since sir is having a very huge profile, sir is very well known personality. He is a national spokesperson of economic affairs for BJP. He is a trustee and treasurer of India Policy Foundation. Sri Agarwal, sir, is a fellow member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. He is an economic thinker and writes extensively for newspapers, financial journals, and delivers lectures and seminars and conferences. Sir is a member of the task force of MSME sector of Ministry of Finance and government nominee on the Central Council of Institute of Company Secretary, and was on the board of NIPCO and Bank of Baroda. He is a member of Board of Governor at Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs, IIC, think tank of Government of India, and independent director in ICSI IIP. He is also advisor to Ministry of Water Resources on Namami Gange. He has initiated various public welfare projects like Jaladhikar Foundation, Democratic Outreach for Social Transformation Dost, Nagrik Manch, Shriji Gausadan, and Milk Cooperative Movement, amongst many others. He has strategically contributed to Jan Lokpal movement and has drafted a plan to get back black money stashed in tax havens abroad. His published work include Anti-Bribery Code. Sir is having a huge, tremendous, wide experience, and he's a thorough politician and well versed with all the economic affairs. And we are very much thankful, sir, for embracing the today's discussion, and we are just eagerly waiting to listen to you. Over to our chairman, over to our chief guest, Gopala Krishna Agarwal, sir.
Thank you, Nisha ji, for introducing me to the audience. I would like at the onset thank Institute of Cost Accountant for giving me this opportunity to interact with the professional colleagues. It is always heartening to have interactions with my friends, colleagues in the professions, in which I take a lot of pride. I would also thank my dear friend Mukesh Singh Kushwaha ji, who asked me to participate in this and invited me. My heartfelt thank to the President Vishwa Swarup Basu ji, Vice President Raju Iyer ji, Chairman of this committee Vijendra Sharma ji, and all our fellow panelists, colleagues, and dear friends. As has been mentioned by the President and the Vice President and the Chairman of the committee, Nisha ji, and further more speakers will deliberate on the issue. This budget has been hailed by all, and there was a lot of expectation that after the COVID crisis that India has been along with the world, there was a big setback to the economy, and how that economy will progress, what the government will do. So many expectations were there, and those expectations were very high. We did meet FM twice, discuss the issues earlier also, before the announcement of Atmanirbhar package. Also, we had certain discussion in between where various policies are being implemented. Party is very well involved into this discussion, policy making, because we as a party has a very large outreach of interacting with stakeholders, and we convey our concerns, which we collect from the people, from whether it is the professional colleagues, industries connect, or these business communities. All those things are very well communicated, and we are happy that at times, many of the times which are acceptable and which the government finds useful are implemented. Similar exercise was undertaken before the budget, and the finance minister herself, she also had an elaborate discussion with various stakeholders. She herself had 17 stakeholders meeting combined. From those meetings, a good churning has come out, and we see this budget, which is being hailed across all, from industries, from professionals, even international reports are also in the positive domain. Today only I was reading about the Moody report, because we were basically concerned that after the huge fiscal deficit of government has announced a fiscal deficit of 9.5% in the this current year, and in the next year, though government has thought to bring it down to 6.8%. Still, credit rating agencies, how international community will take. But we are happy that stock market has also taken it positively. Industrialists, business communities, all have taken positively, and even foreign organizations have also shown confidence into this budget exercise in the current constraint, because they are seeing the government has done the best it could do. So Moody has come out with a report that it says that though fiscal roadmap and fiscal macroeconomic parameters of deficit, etc., are high, but they are saying that what we have expected in the budget of growth rate of 14% nominal growth, GDP growth rate, they are expecting higher than that. Generally, it is the government which gives the higher figure of growth, etc., in the expectation. But Moody this time has said that we expect a higher GDP growth rate in nominal terms of 17%. So the fiscal deficit in the next budget, next year, will be better. So consolidation roadmap which the government has set itself for are quite reasonable. And they have appreciated that in this budget, the government has moved to the path of transparency in accounting. We are all associated with the accounting profession, and we have seen earlier many times how budget figures, account figures are sometimes hidden, and we are not transparent. We saw this in the oil bond case, then even the FCI subsidy, which was every year being announced, food subsidy outside the budget, and huge debt was being accumulated in the FCI books of account, which in itself are not very conducive to the economic environment. So everybody has appreciated that government over 3-4 years, we have been repaying all the oil bonds to the oil companies which were outside the budget earlier. That also we are committing our economy to, budget to, and today, this time, FCI subsidy is also brought under the books of account. So this transparency, accounting, prudence, etc., is also being appreciated. What I would like to put before you, 2-3 important economic aspects that we all professionals should know. We need to have a narration and strength and confidence in what our economy will move, because we are all associated with the business community, industry community, professional community. If we understand things in the right perspective and create the right narration where the economy should move, then the government itself also get strength to go on a path which is prudent for the economy. That's very important. At my involvement into political activity and discussions, etc., I have found that many times the narration is not conducive to the economic decision making which the government takes. We have seen how agriculture sector reforms, which have seen consensus for almost 2 decades, everywhere there was consensus that economic agriculture sector needs big reforms, market reforms, mandis need reforms, more private investment is required, warehousing infrastructure has to be created, supply chain, cold supply chain has to be created. But when the government brought out, certain sections came out against it, and the narration did not help. That was not that conducive to government to reforms, and therefore at times government finds it difficult to continue with the reforms. So it is the duty of every professional who is involved in the economic activity to understand economic policies of the government, get the intricacies of it, and bring them to the users of those policies, whether it is industries, business houses, or to the public. So we need to understand this basic concept. I'll give you 2-3 reports. Post-COVID, the economy was a big challenge. Immediately when the COVID came in March 2020, and the lockdown came in, was announced on 25th March, immediate concern of the government was health. And it was COVID was a big challenge, and health was even bigger challenge with our infrastructure. So government went on to spend lot of money on the health sector. That did give us a good result, and at present we are happy that the COVID strategy of the government is held across the globe, and we already have 2 vaccines, and 2 more vaccines are in pipeline, and almost COVID is within controlling parameters. So the initial government's effort on the COVID was successful. The second important thing after the COVID lockdown was the economy got a sudden break, and it needed a revival, recovery. And in addition to health, wealth was the second important thing that government needed attention of the government. And we are happy that the fiscal stimulus that our government announced, many people were saying that you announce a one-go large fiscal stimulus, why have you not done that? But we got into tranches of fiscal stimulus packages, and that has paid us nicely. Initially, Atmanirbhar Bharat 5 schemes have done to various sectors, and we thought that as the need comes to particular sectors, we will continue the fiscal stimulus, and still we will be going on to give that stimulus. Then that has also brought a good result. I'll put 3-4 reports. One was monthly economic monitor report of the Ministry of Finance. It tracks high frequency data like mobility, like coal consumption, electricity consumption. Many high frequency economic data are given in that. All those data I have seen, the graphical represented, show a V-shaped recovery. After the steep fall in the second quarter in the overall GDP of 23.9%, the third quarter did see an improvement of 64%, but still it was in the negative terrain of minus 7.7% of GDP for fall. But all the parameters, which high frequency parameters, show a V-shaped, clear-cut V-shaped recovery. That's very heartening. Second report, you can go, it's in the public domain, you can look into. Second is about the RBI report. 10 days back, RBI came out with a report which also tracks economy, and it says that after a winter of discontent, India is poised for a glorious summer this summer, and India is seeing a good recovery. The third report that I would like to quote is, I'll not go into detail for paucity of time, is about the IMF report which 3-4 days back came. They have said that with expected growth rate of 11.5% in the next year, the Indian economy will continue to occupy the tag of fastest growing economy in the world. So, in addition to this, PM Purchase Managers Index, which tracks the manufacturing sector industries, that all for 3 consecutive months show expansionary activity in the manufacturing sector. IIP figures on the 8 core sectors, coal, etc., all show that there is a healthy recovery on that. In addition, GST collection has crossed our expectation for last 3 months. It is more than 1 lakh, and 2 days back it has crossed 1,20,000. So all these parameters show that there is a healthy recovery. The economic survey before the budget said that though we are seeing good recovery, but it is important that the budget catalyzes this economic V-shaped recovery and makes it sustainable. And to make it sustainable, they have economic survey points out 2 sectors which they say are very important and they have to be looked into in the budget. And those sectors were, one was infrastructure, government spending, and the second was health. These 2 areas were pointed out by the economic survey that if we are seeing V-shaped recovery, but to make it sustainable, these sectors should have a special support from the government. And the another point that I would like to maintain is the economic survey also talked about counter-cyclical measures. That means there are macroeconomic parameters we should all understand. Is fiscal deficit is one parameter, then government borrowing is another parameter. Both are a big challenge at the current situation, that fiscal deficit is crossing 9.5% and the borrowing is almost 90%. Government borrowing is almost 90% of the GDP. And inflation, though it has come down in December, but November it has crossed 6.5% something. So these three parameters were creating further challenge to the expectation that government should continue to spend, and government should continue to spend on the health and the infrastructure. So what the government had the challenge to balance this, and counter-cyclical measures required an intelligence move from on behalf of the government, that at this point of time, these parameters are not important. Bigger importance is government spending that is required for catalyzing economy. And I'm happy to say to you that in this budget, both this sector, capital expenditure on infrastructure, has seen a massive growth of 34% in spite of it being increased in a revised estimate also. Budgeted estimate was some figure, but revised estimate had given 4.39 lakh crores of expenditure. But this budget gives a figure of 5.45 lakh crore of expenditure, which will create good infrastructure all around: road, railways, airways, waterways, ports, all these things, housing. So this has three important impact on the economy. One thing, it will create large scale demand in the cement, steel and all construction activity and various activities for infrastructure, land demand, etc. It will create large demand in the economy, which will help attract the private investment. One thing, it will create ease of living for the common man. It will create ease of doing business for the industries. It targets to reduce the transportation cost to almost 40%, by 40%. So this infrastructure spend without being bogged down by the challenge of fiscal deficit and this government borrowing. Government has committed itself to this infrastructure spend by increasing it to 34%, and that too improving the quality of infrastructure expenditure, because government has targeted creating assets. If you just dole money to the people, transfer helicopter money, which is called, that is not a create asset, that is not a quality expenditure on behalf of government. So this is one important point that you all should know, and this will create benefit for all of us. Give employment opportunity, give business opportunity, give professional opportunity, bring private investment. We should encourage people from our known circles to invest, etc. So one thing. Second was about the increase in the health expenditure. Government has increased the health expenditure to 137%. That's a huge amount by any measure. Already government has increased a lot of expenditure on the health sector. In addition to that, government has further committed 137% of expenditure in the health, which will create a further boost to the economy, because it is said that RBI report said V stands for V-shaped recovery, V stands for vaccine. Vaccine is one of the biggest booster for the well-being of the people at this current juncture, and government has committed 35,000 crores in vaccine. So with vaccine on card, two vaccines already in place, 2 more vaccines immediately on card. Government plans to increase infrastructure of hospitals in 112 districts, 4 virological institute. I can tell you anything, but you all professionals can go through the Union Budget app in the mobile. It is now easily available on any Android or iPhone map, Union Budget. You can download it and you can get all the details of the budget. But these two segments have an extremely beneficial for the economy, and I'm very confident that it will help into sustain recovery. In addition to this, briefly, I would like to mention is about the initiative of development financial institutions. Capital market has also seen certain reforms. ARC and DFI. DFI, the government has said even they are, we are happy to have private development financial institutions. This will resolve the NPA issues, and this will also resolve many of the stuck projects, etc. And our professional persons can also form asset management company. ARC is though promoted by the government, but we have welcomed that asset management committee. It is an extension of resolution, NPA resolution under the IBC and NCLT. Asset management, private asset management company, which can bid and take assets from the government-owned asset reconstruction company. That will, we should all read this in detail and get into this activity. Development financial institution, private companies, private promoters also are welcome to develop this thing. This is also an area where we should work. As a professional colleague, 2 points I would like to mention is about one-person company. I have been following on this one-person company that it's a good, very good concept, and with low compliance, it gives from small businesses, etc. It will be very beneficial. So we should understand that government has reduced compliances and give support to one-person company. LLP compliances has also been reduced. So this also gives us opportunity to do things. Last point, 3 point I would like to mention briefly is about there was extreme pressure on the government to go for either go for wealth tax or go for COVID bond, COVID tax, etc., or increase direct tax, corporate and personal. Government, our BJP government has been committed to reduce corporate and individual tax. That commitment stands, and in spite of all the pressure and supportive narration, government had abstained. That's one important point that we should all highlight and be happy about, is that we have abstained from increasing direct, indirect tax or wealth tax or COVID tax, etc. That's one thing very important. And our commitment to reforms. BJP, last point that I would like to mention is that BJP as a party believes in right to center. We believe that business community, industrialists are an important part of the economy. They help grow, they help us strongly build the economy and a strong nation, and they should be respected. And market economy is the best way to allocate resources, transparent resource allocation. So considering that our commitment to reforms is there, it will be you can see it in the this agriculture reform. In spite of all the opposition, we are sticking to this reforms. Similarly, we have come out with labor code, which is a big reform. We are encouraging states to come out with a ease of doing business report and land bank, etc. All many reforms are there. They are being government has accepted, put pressure on the states to implement them so that we can have more manufacturing sector in the country. Even defense sector has been opened. So all these things are important area where government initiatives are going to there. We are working for new policies that I would mention. If the institute or other professional colleague can give suggestion or officially can give to the government or to the party, we are welcome. 4 new policies are on card which will further help our economic reform roadmap. That is we are working on the new industrial policy. Any suggestions on that are welcome, that from the institute side or from the from individuals also or anybody. Second is the logistic policy, that is draft policy on the public domain, but still we are welcoming any suggestion on them. The third is retail trade policy, and the fourth is e-commerce policy, and the fifth is import-export policy. All these policies are going to be announced very soon. Any suggestions on any of these policies will also be welcome. We are committed to interlinking our manufacturing sector to global and regional supply chain. That is also on card. We will work on reworking some trade negotiation, bilateral and multilateral trade. We are working on our trade agreement with Europe and USA. So they will also boost economy. I am very confident that in the coming year, India will have a very strong recovery, and with the entrepreneurship zeal that we have, startup initiatives, unicorns, etc., artificial intelligence, many pharma sector, automobile sector, all these sectors are showing a very healthy recovery. So we will definitely have a good year ahead, and I thank the Institute for giving me this opportunity to speak on behalf of the government and for behalf of the party for this important initiative of budget. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. You have beautifully and lucidly explained the government's perspective on this union budget presented recently. So we are extremely enlightened listening from you. Reading is something, but directly listening from such an expert is a different kind of feeling. So we are happy that you have shared clearly the message of the government. Thank you so much, sir.
Can I leave? I have a meeting to leave, huh? Can I leave?
Hello.
Can I leave, huh?
Sir, it's in case you are not able to continue with us, then of course I can't give you any permission. But we would like to that you can continue to join with us.
No, but I have another program at 5, and it will take at least 20 minutes to reach there. In Kerala, I am in Trichy.
Gopalji, 1 minute, sir.
Yes.
I have one request to you, that there is a elimination of section 35 GST Act. My request to you to please take care of that issue, so that when the finance will come to the parliament, it will be restored again. So that help we require for the betterment of this profession.
Yeah, definitely. Our president has said, and others also had said to me, I will definitely, once I go to tonight, I'm reaching back. I will discuss with the FM what we will.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Concerns, and I'll follow it up. Thank you. Thank you very much.